What's up guys, my name is ESO and welcome to the channel. I've just got some new information on the Nuka World DLC and it's actually got me pretty damn excited, as you're about to tell by this video. So I'm just trying to contain myself right now, but we already know that there would be different factions that would have different themes within the DLC. But now we have a much better idea of what these themes are, and there's also some information here about the different settlement items and how you're going to be able to overtake settlements and run them and basically run your own raider club. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about what this information could mean, and I'm going to speculate a bit and get a bit excited. So all this information was actually obtained thanks to Shadowshade3, a Reddit user who data mined this information for us. So a big shout out and thanks to this guy. So let's get into the first interesting thing that he found. There were a whole selection of new map markers leaked. The ones that caught my eye specifically was the Bandit Settlement marker, and the Vassal Settlement marker, and the Potential Vassal Settlement marker. So before I tell you what this might mean, just so we're all on the same page, somebody who owns some land, but they own their allegiance to you. So for example, if you were like the king, and then this was one of your barons or knights who owned the land, and they run that land for you, and you just get like all the rewards from it. So to me, what I think this means is that there will be set out locations in Nuka World, and these will be similar to settlement locations like in the original Fallout 4 game. So you can go to these locations and you can make settlements. So for example, you might see a potential vassal marker at a location, and that will be owned by one of the factions existing in the Nuka World DLC. So it will likely be a faction of raiders. And then we can actually take these raider settlements over and make the settlement our own. So we'll then own that gang of raiders. So to do this, it might include like some kind of quest, or you might just have to kill everybody there and then replace it with your own faction. And once you have done that, the map marker will probably change to the Vassal Settlement. This would then mean that we can build and run our own raider faction base. And I don't know what kind of rewards we'll get from them. Maybe you can get like weekly or daily rewards, like you go and they've got like a chest full of different loot. I know that Bethesda have done that in previous games. So this is just speculation, I could be wrong. But it'd actually be pretty cool if you could lose your vassal. So the map marker went back to a potential vassal location. The location was taken over by another faction. So you literally have faction wars. I mean, I don't know if it would work that way, but I hope to God it does. Of course, there's also still this Bandit Settlement marker, and this may just be a settlement of a bandit faction, like maybe their stronghold, their main defense that you can't overtake. So the next thing that really got me drooling was the other map location markers. And these kind of begin to describe and tell us about different potential locations. And it's really the names that give them away. They just sound so cool to me. So starting from the left to right, we have the Wild West marker. How cool would a whole Wild West themed area be? I mean, hopefully we can even get some references to the old Fallout New Vegas game, which was based in the Mojave Desert. I mean, we could even potentially see some new cowboy outfits that may even enable me to perfect my dream gunslinger build. I cannot wait for that. Anyway guys, next up is the Safari marker. We've already seen gorillas in Fallout 4, so this one just kind of makes me wonder, maybe they're adding new animals. I mean, I doubt they are, but how cool would it be if you could just run around with like a zoo of followers, like a tiger and a gorilla, and even an elephant, and just go to war on other factions? That would be pretty insane, but I don't think they'll go to that length. I think what we'll probably expect is some kind of like jungle environment. Next we have the ride markers. Oh god, please tell me that we can use the rides. I mean, you can have a Ferris wheel, a roller coaster, some other kind of creepy, wacky fun house that you can go through. It would just be so much fun. And I mean, when someone says theme park, you've got to have working rides. So this is something that I honestly kind of expect, especially if these map markers are marked on your map. They can't just be landmarks, surely. There's got to be some kind of animation to it, kind of like we've seen in the Contraption DLC. It seems to be something that Bethesda are sort of working on. Maybe we'll see something like that. We have then seen these faction markers that suggest these factions also have themes themselves, but that's pretty evident from the trailer anyway. So the park marker and operations marker, these are probably like goth and emo scene people. The next part I'm interested in though is the monorail. How sick would it be if we can actually ride a monorail from different locations and just like shoot people out of the window or something? That would be fantastic. And then there's Kiddie Kingdom. It's a bit of a worrying name, I guess. I think there's going to be a real sort of sense of twisted contrast between like Kiddie Kingdom and then the really sinister dark side of like these brutal like clown murderers or something. That's going to be a bit creepy. There's also a map marker called Hub. And now I think this is kind of obvious to me because we saw this one in the trailer and it represents the giant mountain with a Nuka-Cola bottle sticking on the outside of it. It's probably going to be like kind of like the big mountain hub in Fallout New Vegas, or if you've played Far Harbor, it will be like where Dimer has his base of operations in the observatory. That will probably be a place where the main story unfolds. And then we have this other place called the Galactic, again with that awesome sounding theme, and I guess that's probably where we're going to see the awesome Nuka-Cola pin-up girl armor. And I know someone's already made a mod about that, and it's actually really good mod. You should go check it out if you haven't already. But I think we can probably expect that kind of Nuka World Galactic theme from that area. And then we have the Disciples marker and also the Bottle Factory marker. That's where they bottle up the Nuka-Cola. So, next bit. Now let's talk about the confirmed factions. So there are now some categories that will actually leak in the new workshop that we'll have in the Nuka World DLC for the Rader category. So here we can see the Pack, Operators and Disciples, and those are going to be almost certainly the new factions within the game. All of these factions of course have different themes. It kind of reminds me a bit like the Boomers from Fallout New Vegas, who always used explosives, compared to one of the many tribal factions who would use rifles and close combat. So like contrasting different factions which will work in different ways, which is going to be really interesting. And because each faction has their own category, they'll have their own themed items, which is really cool. Obviously you can make a base just for that faction, or you can mix and match. Now there are two other categories that say resource and dealers, and they're also in the Raider category. These will likely be how we can make some more caps, and how we can get the resources to sell, or even there might be like a robbing station or a highwayman sort of thing. I don't know, we'll find out, but that just sounds exciting. There is also now a Nuka World category in the DLC workshop. This has several categories within it. So these categories also reflect the different themes I talked about before. So you've got Kiddie Land, Galactic and Safari. So you can actually theme your own settlement, and again you can mix and match stuff, which is also pretty damn cool. It does sound a bit like you can just build your own theme park, though there isn't a ride section yet. I'm also guessing that we will be able to produce our own bottling park, so a bit like the Contractions DLC, and there are of course lots and lots of Nuka themed items. But the most interesting one, to me, is the Nuka-Cade. This looks like you might actually be able to set up your own arcade, which we already kind of saw with the gambling machine in the Vault-Tec DLC. It could just be another source of caps if people come in, use your arcade, and then you get some money from that. Or it will just affect your settlers' happiness. So if you didn't see my last video on the Nuka-Cola World DLC, let me just remind you that the release date that was leaked was the 30th of August. Hopefully that date remains true because it's in about 2.5 weeks, but we will know very soon if that is the case. Anyway guys, I do hope you found this video helpful. Please give it a like if you did. This little snippet has made me pretty damn excited for what we might find. And I will of course be making tons of guides on Nuka World, so make sure you check out the links in the description of this video for all the unique weapons that you can find within the DLC. Or you can just subscribe so you don't miss any of these new videos I make. Thanks again for watching guys, my name is ESO and I will see you, loyal subscriber, in the next Fallout 4 video news guide. Have a lovely day and goodbye.